when I talk about, because I've been talking about this for a long time, that we're in a matrix controlled by non-human intelligence, aliens. I think like a very advanced species of aliens that went through the cycles of evolution, just like every other life form in the universe. But unlike our evolution, they evolved naturally, while human beings evolved as a product of genetic engineering. Our evolution was guided by them and tampered with, so we never evolved naturally like they did. So and because of this, during our evolution from primitive ape to modern man, we were adapted inside a matrix, inside a prison. One can say Plato's cave, or in this case, the Truman Show. So what the Truman Show represents is is the human being inside Plato's cave, the Matrix. And like Truman, we're being used as an exploit. Although I don't think we I don't know if we're being used for a form of entertainment or as a way to or as a resource, a tool, like an evolutionary tool somehow, of some sort. But but nevertheless, we're just like Truman. So so this movie though, if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend watching it because it truly is pretty amazing, the symbolism and all that. And there's one scene within the movie where Truman is walking on the sidewalk, and he was born into this giant biosphere, like this biodome that was made into this artificial world, but to him it was like it was real. It was like 100% real. The people, the buildings, the sky, the moon, the sun. But what he didn't know, all of it was artificial, and all the people that were around him were all actors and actresses, and there was hidden cameras all over the place, and he was the star of the show, and he didn't realize he was in the show. He was being, like I said, being used as an exploit for entertainment. He was like a reality TV star, and but anyways, there was one scene where he was walking on the sidewalk, and a lamppost fell from the dome, and it landed on the ground in front of him, busted into several pieces. And on the lamppost itself, it said Sirius, like Sirius B or Sirius, but it had the name Sirius on it. So Sirius. So they're trying to say that so again, the symbolism is they're reflecting this symbolism within our own world, our own reality, and they're trying to say that those who control Earth, that this human civilization that we live in is mainly an imitation form of a human civilization. It's not a real one. We have no need for hardly any of this technology, if any of it at all. We have no need for cars. We have no need for telephones. And if human beings were to wake up and realize who we truly are on a spiritual, psychic level, well, we could communicate telepathically. We can remote view. We can. I'd be even willing to bet that we can teleport our bodies from one location to another, to another star system, just by using our minds alone. We would probably be able to open up portals or create wormholes with our minds. So and a lot of this symbolism is also shown on Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z is a TV show, but people have to realize, that these movies and these TV shows and all that, they're created by these aliens, by the same ones that, so it's important to always take this shit with a grain of salt, because I think the main message that the Truman Show is trying to push, as far as the symbolism goes, is that us human beings, it like creates that solipsistic, solipsism, that mindset to where you believe that only you exist and nobody else. Everybody's a figment of your imagination, which I believe is partially true, but I don't believe that's it's entirely true. Because we all have brains, we all filter out the same consciousness, we all have our own souls. We all have our own universes. But anyway, so one thing you'll never see with these movies and TV shows, they'll never go the whole 9 yards with the truth, the symbolism that they push in these movies, to where people would actually get the hint and wake up. But they'll push some occult truth in them, and like and it doesn't matter if people like me talk about it, because who's going to listen to people like me? Just, I mean, and not even a fraction, not even a not I mean, just check on my subscribers, and this goes for even some of the biggest conspiracy people out there. Like, I can point out to Richard Bruce, for example. He has a pretty good channel based on reptilians, and he exposes these reptilians to a pretty good extent, as far as like showing them in movies and all that. But what he doesn't expose is their agenda. Saying that he pushes Christianity with that. He's a very big advocate for Christianity, the Christian movement, and of course the reptilians, that they want people to get involved in these religious programs because it keeps people from waking up, and Christianity plays a pretty big role when it comes to demonizing the cult, and while making it look scary and bad. I don't like to use the word demonize, because the word demon itself is just filled with like that religious superstitious. It has that superstitious ring to it, and it's not based in logic at all. But anyways, yeah. So the Truman Show. Eventually Truman, he ends up waking up, but it takes him a while because he was born inside the Matrix. He was born inside this fake world, and he didn't realize that everybody around him was actors and actresses, which could be symbolic of the reptilians, from the star Sirius. So he didn't realize it, but he was constantly being spied on, and it took him a while, until he started catching on and realizing that he wasn't inside a real place, and as he would catch on, they would know, because there was always cameras on him, hidden cameras, and spies, and so he couldn't open up and talk to other people about how he thought the world was fake, and that he could be that shit just didn't add up, because he was talking to actors and actresses, people that were working with the system, and he couldn't do shit on his own, like plan out a way to escape, or go to the next town to try to because he felt like he was like in some town based in like a cult personality, or something like that. Because he was always being watched by the hidden cameras as well, so his moves were always anticipated. The system, like I say, the system, like when I say Joy Satan is lying to people, a lot of that is a lot of their information's good information, and is based on truth, but the main lie that they push is the lie that there's a higher power, that there's God's here to hold your hand and will guide you out of this matrix, which is the biggest lie that this system feeds people, because they say that we're even genetically programmed to be dependent upon some higher power. And if you don't believe me, click on Google, go to Google, and then type in the Google search bar, type in the God gene. So they're saying that geneticists have found a gene within human DNA that that could actually be be responsible. I don't know if it's could or is, that's actually responsible for for faith. They call it the faith gene, that we're actually genetically hardwired, where there's actually a gene within us that makes us believe in God. So I think that when we were created as human beings, by these aliens, I believe that they actually stuck that gene within us, because just as long as we're dependent upon their thought form, that their make believe God, then we can't escape their matrix. Because why do they want us believing this make believe God? Why do they want us believing any God? Because then we won't take personal responsibility for our own lives. We won't go that extra step that we need to in order to sit there and actually take personal responsibility. Realizing that we're stuck deep in shit, or in quicksand, and I think it's like the heavier the object is, the more it sinks, and that really goes for anything, water, quicksand, I guess. And or it's like, one could compare it to the boiling frog metaphor. We're born into a boiling pot of water, and well, we're born into a pot with water, not realizing we think this pot is part of the natural world, but it's not. It's artificial. And so as things start to heat up, we think it's just part of life. Normally, we don't have no idea that we're in a pot on top of a stove, and all of this is part of the system. You can compare it to this alien system. So when things start to heat up, and at first, there's something in the back of our head saying, hey, that something's not right. It's shit's getting hotter, shit's getting hot, and I don't know if this is part of the real world or part of some fake, Plato's cave type shit going on. But by the time the person starts to really realize that, shit, I better get out of this water, it's too late. You're already, your body has already gave out before your mind got time to process just what kind of shit you're in. And so so the Truman Show, so Truman started waking up, and when he did, he well, long story short, he got out of this biodome, and the only way that he was able to escape was that he hopped on a boat, and he went through I mean, they even had artificial weather, storms and shit like that, to make sure that he would turn back, in case he did try to escape that biodome, because there was actually an ocean inside that biodome too. And he actually tried to go out into the middle of the sea and try to because they blocked his way on land, like on the roads. Like, they blocked out the roads, they caused forest fires to make sure that he didn't escape on land. So his only option was to escape through water, so he got a boat, and he went out to this, he went out in the middle of this artificial sea, and he just kept on going and going. But they had artificial storms, that they were creating to make sure that he had turned back. And the more he went out there, the worse the storm got. And it got to that point where they thought they were actually going to kill him, and they were willing to kill him on the movie, but he survived it somehow, and then ended up escaping out of this this matrix that he was in. But yeah, I mean, it's, although I really don't think it's that easy to escape the matrix, like they make it appear with Truman, on this movie, because it's a lot harder than that, and I don't think anybody can survive that trip, but but yeah, so when I say that the system is 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of us, and they can telepathically read our minds. They pose as they pose as gods, they pose as people, they pose as they just have so many fucking things. I mean, technology, psychic power at their disposal. And since our psychic senses are shut off, and since we're a genetically engineered species, and and we can't, and they have technology that we've never seen before, so, and not to mention they've been around a lot longer than us too, so they're smarter, they're more knowledgeable. Humanity is just outgunned, period. So for those that put their trust in the JOS, for those that put their trust in God and all that, again, you just don't know, because you're born into Plato's cave. You're born into a system, and all of these things could very much likely be part of that system, and it's 100% foolish to put trust into any of this shit when you're still stuck here. And so my point is, you better wake up and realize that you're in a boiling pot of water, and get the fuck out of this pot, this water, before you boil to death. And then and only then can you look, because you can't make, as long as you're inside the pot, you can't see anything outside the pot until you get out. And then once you get out, you're gonna see the giant stove underneath the pot. One could say that alien technology, or that UFO, or the system itself, and you'd be like, holy shit, I was, and then you'd see the pot itself, your little biodome, and then you'd realize that, holy shit, you were never in the real world to begin with. So so yeah, when I tell people, if I didn't have this, and this is where nobody's gonna believe me, but if I didn't have this alien parasite attached to my astral body, and it was placed on me for a reason, because I came close to escaping that pot, I started realizing I was in one. And so like I said, the system is always 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of you. So they anticipate. They know. They could telepathically read your mind. They're all around us at all times. We just can't see them. So they know already. The move that you're gonna make. So my moves were anticipated, and they placed this creature on me before I had the chance to escape. So when I tell people that if I didn't have this astral parasite attached to my astral body, and I can and I had the key, I had the telephone number to dial out into this universe to contact aliens that could come here instantly and invade this planet, or to get me off this planet, period. Which I could really do if I didn't have this alien parasite on me. Nobody's gonna believe me, because they're stuck in the same fucking boat, and they're stuck in this biodome, this matrix, and like I said, it's 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of us all. So if I would have beat this fucking system, and if I would have got out of this matrix, this boiling pot, which I believe I'm stuck in this boiling pot with many other people, fucking the people would know. I mean, then again, I wouldn't even be making these videos. I'd probably, I would have probably already contacted that help, and there'd be no matrix on Earth. But but yeah, so you're never gonna see a video on YouTube like this one that describes such an awesome truth, and such an honest and deep, truthful way. And those that do make videos like this one, just check out I mean, they're the most attacked by the system. Check out my subscribers. Check out the way I talk. Slurs in my voice, and I can't carry myself in a cool kind of manner to where people would. Again, this is the result of this alien parasite being on me. It won't allow me to express myself to where I want to where people would listen to me. It won't allow me to. You think this is my real voice? This ain't my. This is somewhat my real voice, but it's not entirely. And I don't look like this, and I don't, the real me outside this pot it would be totally, totally, totally different compared to anything that compared to anything, compared to who I am now. By the way I sound, by the way I look, and et cetera, et cetera. And I can't even express my intelligence to its fullest capability. To where I would be able to put all of this together in a far more elegant and beautiful manner than what I'm doing now, than how I'm doing it now.